They ask me who I am. For the culture. Yeah. They ask me who I am. I told them I'm an Israelite. That's right, I'm an Israelite. They ask me where I'm from. I told them you can pick a side. We worldwide, I'm an Israelite. Whether through scripts or history, no, I can show you. In the army of Yahuwah's, oh boy, I'm a soldier. Yeah, they ask me who I am, I told them I'm an Israelite. That's right, I'm an Israelite. When I say Israelite, they say you Jewish. Look, don't be foolish, come get a dose of this mental renewing. See how we brew it, it's just different. Like, for instance, first thing to know, bro, it's a culture, no religion. Talking the bloodline, they say we Jacob children. And yeah, that's a factor, but what really matter, how we living. Given that we gotta get Beseda, that mean in order. For that we got that Torah, some brothers we got Basora. Of course, it's some don't believe, but that don't matter today. I ain't tryna throw no shade, as long as we all staying away. That 613, we coolin' like palm trees. A couple of that, yeah, ain't a fam, know what I mean. They ask me who I am, I told them I'm an Israelite. That's right, I'm an Israelite. They ask me where I'm from, I told them you can pick a side. We worldwide, I'm an Israelite. Whether through scripts or history, no, I can show you. In the army of Yahuwah's, oh boy, I'm a soldier. Yeah, they ask me who I am, I told them I'm an Israelite. That's right, I'm an Israelite. He said that we the light, got no choice but to shine. By the sweat of your brow, now you see why we grind, how we do, and we move to keep that ruach in our midst. When we eat, I got a list. Wanna build, break out them scripts. We don't hate and we don't diss. We ain't worried about another. He called us his firstborn. You can call us big brother. Look deeper and you'll discover. In your movies and shows, truth been exposed. What you know about those captured and sold. The Igbo and the Ashanti. Check out the history, never long. Ain't gotta find me. Right where we meant to be, rebellion. Led to expulsion, repentance, fix that. Y'all gotta get back. Y'all keep calling big facts. They ask me who I am, I told them I'm an Israelite. That's right, I'm an Israelite. They ask me where I'm from, I told them you can pick a side. We worldwide, I'm an Israelite. Whether through scripts or history, no, I can show you. In the army of Yahuwah's, oh boy, I'm a soldier. Yeah, they ask me who I am, I told them I'm an Israelite. That's right, I'm an Israelite.
Hey, we ain't saying this our salvation tonight, but the Most High just put his name on it, so we represent. All praise, shalom, shalom.
Welcome to another segment of YAH Conscience Radio, where if it's not YAH Conscience, then it's not acceptable. ראשית, אנחנו רוצים לתת כבוד ושבת ליהוה אל עליון, אלוהי אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. First, we want to give honor and praise to he or it that causes the bill exists, the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Welcome again. Shalom, everyone. How are you?
Hallelujah. Yebreka Yahweh Yishmereka. Shalom, everybody.
Hey,
Hallelujah.
shalom.
Okay, how was everyone's weekend? I mean, week. And week. How y'all week was, man? Y'all know what I'm asking.
Very, very exhausting. I'm not even gonna. It was very challenging. I don't know. It was hard for me to get out of bed this week.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
We here. I'm here.
Live and well. We're about to get refreshed, rejuvenated with this today's topics. We gotta wake up. Wake up, everybody. How about you, Chief? Zabulan, how was your week?
Yeah, long week, long week. But another day in the land of the living. So as the Most High Power is the God of the living. So therefore, Toda Yah, thank Yah that we are here.
Hallelujah. The better Kathy. How about you? How about you? You're muted. You're muted.
It was okay. It was okay.
Oh, end it like
I
that.
believe in that, but I'm among the land of the living. It was okay.
All praises. All right. Well, somebody said it was echo on the music. I apologize, you all. I'm not at my normal location. You know, we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. Give me about 1 more week, 2 more weeks. Shalom, shalom. La El Israel. You know, love the interaction. Got people commenting already. We ain't even started. All right. Enough of my talking. Let's get started. So there are levels to this. This will be a very interesting discussion, because a lot of these topics, it does have to do with levels, you know, when pertaining to relationships, when pertaining to the way or our culture in comparison to society. I just wanted to pinpoint a couple things, a couple questions. So we're gonna go with the first one. Let's go with the first question, you all. And the first question is, it's kind of long. It's a 2-part question. Is it more important for a husband and wife, in some cases for others, wives, to be on the same level of competency when it comes to Hebrew literature and history, or is just the same level of servitude towards Yah enough? Or should both be the goal? So, in other words, is it important for us to be on the same level of understanding when it comes to the Hebrew literature and history? Or is it just the same, or is it okay for just the same level of servitude towards Yah enough? Is that enough? Is that all we need? Or should both be the goal? Did y'all understand that question? Or that 2-part question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's pass the mic to one of the ladies. Achot Sharon, are you available for that question?
I would have to say no. I don't agree with it being enough, even though that is a requirement. Because I feel like, sorry, can you guys hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
I feel like it covers a lot of potential problems, potential issues in one's relationship if they're not on the same level of competency when it comes to Hebrew literature, when it comes to Hebrew history. Let's go for an example. I would say, for an example, say if a sister is just joining in the truth, you know, you would want it to be important for her to know certain laws, certain statutes, and commandments, certain boundaries, so it can kind of like be, you know, so she can kind of avoid manipulation at some point. You know, it could be vice versa. If a brother is coming to the truth, it can avoid a lot of a lot of unforeseen, problems. And one thing you got to understand is that, if okay, it depends. If a husband and a wife, do y'all agree that when you're outside of one another, that you represent one another? So you don't want. I don't know. I guess I'm biased. I guess I'm biased.
I love the
My
answer.
mic is keep going out.
I love the answer. We heard you though. We heard you, just so you know.
Wait a minute. Sleeper, to the car.
But definitely that was some good that was good take on it. Love the things that were said. Chief Zebulon, what's your take on it, on the question? I'll reread it if you need me to.
Oh no, I got it right here on the screen. Well, on the other screen.
Okay.
No, it's I guess on the surface, it would be great if if a husband and wife had the same level of competency. But we know that competency is not something that's that comes forth as a given. It's something that's worked on. So there's a chance that you might be involved or might be interested in a woman, or she might be interested in a brother, and the level of competency might not be necessarily the same.
Mm-hmm.
But that's fine in the beginning, because competency, just like many things, it can grow. If she's not where you're at, that's fine, because that's where your job comes in. You know what I'm saying? Your job is to get her up to speed competency wise. And if it turns out vice versa, then yeah, it would behoove her, you know what I'm saying, respectfully to let said individual know, yeah, listen, we got to work together. It can't be ox and a donkey or whatever like that. It has to be two oxen. So competency can come through, through trial, through effort, and things of that nature. As far as if the individuals, sharing the same level of servitude towards YAH, is that enough? That's also not enough. And I think I agree. I believe that's what Sister Sharon was getting. It's not really enough, because, again, let's say you have a great willingness to serve the Most High. Both of you have that willingness. But what happens if your level of knowledge and your level of competency is not there? You both can be now worshiping in vain. And therefore you would be no different than Christians. I mean, let's be honest. Is there really anybody on the planet who worships more fervently than Christians? Christians are very, they love their Christ. They love their Jesus, whatever like that. And in their limited scope of theology, they go in. But of course, they go in having very little to no understanding of the very book that they hold dear to themselves. So we know that worship is good, but worship without without accurate knowledge is idolatry. So neither one of these are good enough, by themselves. But there has to be a willingness. If you are interested in a person, if you're a man and you're interested in this sister, or if you're a sister interested in this man, and let's say neither one of you are on the same level, if you look at the person who's not on the level of you, and if they show the willingness, my teachers called it, are they teachable? Are they teachable? If they're teachable, it doesn't matter where they're at, because they've already let you know that they're open to this process, this journey with you. So they have no problem with starting at where they're at. They can get right in the book with you, and they're able to listen. They're able to, to be teachable. And anybody that's teachable, it's a good look with them. You can actually move forward with them because they're willing to do the work. Whereas you got some people, men and women, who are very intellectually astute, can serve the Most High on the highest level, can do it in Hebrew, can do it in English, whatever like that, do all of this great stuff, but they're not teachable. Their ears are closed because their knowledge has put them in a position where they can't hear anybody else anymore.
Okay.
So that's why I say it's kind of, you got to have a combination of these things. There has to be some level of competency, even if it's not on the same, even if one person has more, whatever, but as long as the willingness, if the individuals are teachable, all these other things can be worked out.
Okay. I see we got some comments, but they look like some bots. I don't know what that stuff is.
Yeah, that Laura Hudson comment.
Yeah. And then the Linda Woods. Anywho,
I didn't see that one yet.
Yeah, just popped up. Better Kathy, are you ready to give your answer, or would you like me to go before? Can't hear you. You're on mute.
I'm ready. Wow.
Did you say bow wow?
I said, wow, 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 wow.
I said, wow, wow. I said, oh my goodness. No so definite, but okay.
Well, because this hit home for me, it hit more so home after hearing Chief. Because as we all know, I was brought up in Christianity. My husband is the one that brought me to the level of understanding where I am now, and still gathering with our congregation and speaking to my sister Sharon, even though she's in Georgia, helps me to continue.
Neighbor? What's up, neighbor? I'll be there in about a week. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
that continues to help me learn and grow. And I like this way makes me feel alive. Like it's the way. So yes, somebody that don't have that level of understanding, or you not on that same competency level with someone, I'm pretty sure my husband, as long as he's been in the walk, he had to see something that was workable. If not, I hope to pray he would have turned and walked away. You know what I mean? And Sharon was his sister before I knew him. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure when she met me, if she had, that flag would have gone up, because they were brought up, like you said, in a community together. So no, I don't think you have to be on the same level of competency, but I think there are certain things that you definitely should be aware of that will allow you to build upon and expand, so that you can get to that point where you're both on the same page. And I'm like Chief, no, I don't think there's another way around the second part. You have to be at some point in time on the same page.
All right.
That's me.
All right. I'm gonna go in a little bit. I really don't have to, because every last one of you said y'all basically tackled it. So is it more important for a husband and wife or wives to be on the same level of competency when it comes to Hebrew literature and history, or is just the same level of servitude towards YAH enough? I love what you all were saying, because I believe that many people in this, in the culture, everyone's not on the same level as competency. Even teachers, Maureen. And when you think about it, you might have people that, like Chief was bringing out, you might have people that are ridiculous when it comes to the Hebrew language, when it comes to history, in a sense, when it comes to precepts, but their competency is not there. But then you have people who might not be as on the same level as these other individuals when it comes to Hebrew and all this other stuff, but they're competent when it comes to the culture. They're competent when it comes to how to serve the Most High Yah. It's levels to this. That's why I named it. It's certain levels to this, and it's kind of amazing, because I believe, and here's my answer, and you all might disagree. I think ultimately, serving Yah together is probably the most important. I think all of it is important, but I think serving. I remember, who was it? You had Eli. Who was Eli? Who was under Eli? Was it Samuel? Shemuel? Somebody correct me, Chief. Was Chief under Eli? Oh, I said was Chief. Was Shemuel under Eli, the priest at the time? Cain? Y'all muted, by the way. Anyway, nobody answered, so I'm just going. Can you hear me, Chief?
Okay, and I didn't even realize. I thought I was still unmuted. My bad.
Yeah. Did you hear my question?
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, so it was Shemuel and Eli, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, I don't know if you all remember, he was under Eli. He was learning all the ways and stuff like that. But it still said that he didn't even really know, he didn't know the Most High yet. Now, some people can have their thoughts on what that meant, but the literature in the English translation said he didn't know him. Right? But it was a certain type of servitude. It was a certain type of learning and just doing until one day somebody talked to him, woke him up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Something hit him. I'm using that analogy to say the same thing in regards to husband and wife, whether it's the husband that might not be as not even learned, but just in an instance of like serving as much as the wife is, or vice versa. I believe that if it's mimicked with the desire to learn, like you all were saying, then eventually it would click like it did for Shemuel. And then with that, it's going to be a thirst, you know, because his word is like water. It's going to be a thirst to actually want to learn this, and this. I remember when, you know, I was big in a lot of this stuff, and I'm just using me for an example. Chief, once I got the ordination, I was like, man, okay, what's next? What I need to learn, you know. But it started coming, and I practiced a certain servitude before then. You know, I didn't know certain things, but I know I'm going outside of the question. But all of it relates to me. All of these things kind of relate. So, anybody got anything to But one thing I will say is should both be the goal. They both should be the goal. They both should be the goal, but I think it is steps and levels to get to the point of where we all trying to go. Anybody else got anything towards the question?
I just want to add, again, I agree at some point you both should be following, you know, the statute, laws, and commandments of the Most High. But I also believe that there's an individual relationship that male or female will have, you know, with the Most High, because I can see that I may be able to see that my husband's troubled by something, but he's not ready to present that to me. But me being in tune to him, I can go to the Most High before he's even ready to talk to me about it, and ask the Most High to cover my husband in his, you know, in his spirit right now, because I feel that it's uneasy. But I think one is definitely very, very important, but I think the other one is just as important, because you may be dealing with a situation that come up in your marriage. Everybody say, oh, we always supposed to be able to communicate. Yes, we are. But every time a situation comes up, it's not, you may have to pull back because you feel like it's not the right time to discuss it. You may not have the right words to say what you need to say to keep it, you know, to go into the next level of an argument or whatever. I think, again, having that personal relationship with the Most High and pulling back and talking to him about what you have to go to your husband and your wife about can give you also, you know what I'm saying, a better understanding. So that's why I just think both go hand in hand together.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Anything else, Chief? You got something? Acho Charon, you got something? Oh, she fell off. She coming back though.
But yeah, no, I mean, you know, this is in you know, one of the things about Hebrew culture, ancient Hebrew culture at least, is that a lot of the issues that we bring up, not just on the show, just generally as Israelites, things that we, you know, these topics that we tackle, a lot of these things were never divisive in ancient times. Like, you know, like when you hear people try to make other Israelites choose between spiritual blessings and monetary blessings, where you hear one side will say, you know, oh, serve the Most High, the spiritual blessings, you know, money and all that stuff, it doesn't matter. And then you have the other side that'll say, nah, you know, physical blessings, that's what it's at, and they'll try to almost downplay spiritual blessings. But in ancient times, especially in our literature, there was never a distinction made in the scripture when it pertained to spiritual blessings and monetary blessings, because blessings were not isolated. It wasn't like there were some people made it, I don't know. There was multiplicity of deities saying, okay, I'll give him the blessing, you'll give him the money, and the Most High, when the Most High blessed you, when he blessed Abraham was blessed spiritually. He was blessed with his understanding to be in communion with the Most High, and the Most High fattened his pockets. The Most High made sure that as he moved throughout these lands, that he wanted for nothing. He lacked nothing monetarily. He lacked nothing spiritually or anything. Solomon was given all of the wisdom that he desired, all of the wisdom that he prayed to the Most High for. And the Most High said, and I will also give you these things.
Okay.
it's only in this time period that we're at where you begin to see people kind of like making distinctions, like separating everything, like as if you can't have spirituality with, you know, with monetary. You can't have Hebrew without worship. You can't have, you know, there's always this division, and it's like our ancestors didn't see it this way. So when we look at this topic in itself, with competency and you know, competency in the text and things of that nature, and being able to serve the Most High, you know, these things were actually one and the same. Because how can you serve that which you know not? I mean, even in the New Testament, what is that? John chapter 4, where the individual who they refer to as Christ, Yeshua, whatever, told the Samaritan woman, he said, "Yo, you don't know what you worship." He said, "We know what we worship, for salvation is through Yehuda." So the understanding is that you have to, you know, worship is good, but you also there has to be competency as well. You got to know what you're, you know, what you're worshiping. I mean, going into the story of Eliah or of Elijah and the priest of Baal, these men were cutting themselves and slicing themselves to pieces in the name of the deity that they served.
Okay.
That's worship. They in fact worship, you know what I'm saying, Baal. It didn't end well for them, but you know what I'm saying, but they worship, but their worship was based on an illusion. The deity that they were serving wasn't real. So we can have the worship, we can have the servitude, but there also has to have there's competency has to be a part of that equation as well. You know, you can't have one without the other. You can have all of the competence. I know Israelites who can quote the scriptures back and forth in Hebrew, English, Aramaic, and everything, and can tell you anything you need to know about the scriptures or history or whatever like that. But they're some of the most ethically corrupt individuals I've ever met in my life.
Okay.
So you see what I'm saying? Like, so they're competent, but the competency hasn't carried over to their ethics. So all of these things are obviously needed together in order to make these things work, especially in the context of a husband and wife.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Before we go to the next one, Akho Sharon, did you have anything to add or close this question out with? If not, we can move. I just wanted to give you the same time, a lot of time.
Okay, we can move on.
Move on. Before we move on, I do want to say this is not mine right here. You see that? You see the little Christmas things back there?
We know.
I mean, hey man, look, I'm moving to Georgia. I'm moving to Georgia. You know what I'm saying?
I knew it. I knew it. Listen, go ahead and get your gift, brother. Go ahead and get your gift.
Hey, look, I'm sitting up and watching y'all talking. I must have looked in the corner like, oh my God. Let me say something before.
Just tilt the camera over just a little bit.
Right, just a little bit. Right, before, but
no, yeah, perfect.
See, sister looking out for me. All right, so before we go, hey, make sure you like, you subscribe, you share it right now. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. YAH Conscience. If it's not YAH Conscience and not acceptable, we're going to go into the first song. And guess what? The song is actually my song. And it's transitioning into kind of what we've been talking about, being on the same page, having the same vision, things of that nature. So being on the level of competency, on the level of serving Most High, if it's not that, and you're an Israelite and you're with someone that's not operating in that fashion, it's going to be dark days. Without further ado, it's your boy, me. One. It's about 3 years old too, by the way. You know what I'm saying? A lot has changed. Yeah. Still a good song. Chill. These are dark days. These are dark days. Things don't always go the way you'd like. No matter the amount of rounds you fight, my friends, you need to understand. Things don't always go the way you plan, especially there's no vision. How do we expect to make it with no plan in place, massive? We have different type of spirits, thinking we can win it. Laying up at night, think about that wife or that husband you thought you wanted. Didn't turn out right. Waiting for the day when you see some light, banking on some praise, thinking that'll make it right. You need more. These are dark days. 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 Yeah, these are dark days. You need more than just one. In that verse, I said something about, people think it's just gonna be good with the prayers, and that's cool. But it's gonna take for the person that you're praying for to actually do the work as well. The Most High is powerful, so I won't put him in a box. But I do believe in what the literature produces too. And one of the things within that prayer is always doing something with it for it to be manifested. All right. Welcome back to YAH Conscience Radio. Well, if it's not YAH Conscious, it is not acceptable. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's go to the next question. And the next question is the term partner in marriage conditionally or subconsciously used today to slowly remove hierarchy? I should have put parentheses in the home. And would a more appropriate modern term be teammate? Is the term partner in marriage conditionally or subconsciously used today to slowly remove hierarchy in the home? Would a more appropriate modern term be teammate? Did y'all get that question? Did y'all understand that question? Okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to Chief Zabulan. Gotta get you started, Chief. Gotta get you started. Go ahead, get us with that one. Oh, look at the little one in the background.
Hey, Tori.
Oh, shalom.
Shalom.
Oh man.
My grandbaby just dropped in.
I see you. I can't wait to have some more one day. About 15 more. All right. No, I'm playing y'all. She got a camera off when I said that. All right, Chief, I'm gonna pass.
Well, you never know going forward. You never know.
Never know, man. You never know. Might have 15. But
yeah. So
okay, go ahead. You got it.
No. Right. Is the term partner in quotations in marriage conditionally or subconsciously used today to slowly remove hierarchy in the home? Would a more appropriate term, a modern term, be teammate? To be honest, I don't really see a difference between partner and teammate. Because and the reason why I say that, and let me be very careful as I tread here. One of the things that in this society, and I'll just keep it confined, to this society as opposed to going into ancient times. But in this society, we've seen over the past 40, 50 years the dissolution of marriage, of what the institution used to be. Our grandparents and great grandparents were very clear on what marriage is. Our great grandmothers, they were very clear as to what their role was. They never saw their role as subservient or anything, but they understood that there was a role. There's a role in anything that we deal with. If we deal with business, if we deal with organizations, if we deal with even in religious hierarchies, all these, there's always levels of something. Levels doesn't mean that you're less than. It only means that you have a different responsibility in whatever the function of the organization is. So in marriage, or just in relationships generally, when you say partner, there's this there's this definition that comes along with, there's an attachment. When you say partner, it automatically removes the hierarchy. It's not even a supplement. Let's put it this way: if we own a business, a record label, whatever the case, and again, you have a CEO and a COO, and you have the A&R, and then you have the engineer in the studio. And instead of the hierarchy, the engineer says, hey, you know what? We need to just start calling ourselves, we're just a partnership. How? The engineer does not do the work that the CEO does. The A&R man does not do the work that a COO does. How is it a partnership? Partnership implies what? There is an equality. And the problem with equality is that, especially in a relationship, is that we've seen what equality has done in marriage. It has caused one party to completely usurp the other party. After the 1970s, you don't see people getting into these partnerships, and it's like an equal, it's an equal footing kind of situation. What you see is either one party is going to consume one party consumes one party, or the other one consumes the other. It's never an equality, because there's no boundaries. When you don't have boundaries or anything that or anything descriptive in the terms. When you say husband, that's a descriptive term. There's there's accountability involved in the term husband. There's a certain set of rules and regulations and protocol that's attached to a husband, and that he is expected to do. Husbands are expected to what? To provide, protect, and these things automatically out the box. Women, just to show you the contradiction, women are not told that that as a wife, their job is to protect or provide for the household. They're told to what? That's not your job. That is the man's job. So if we understand that the roles are different and that each party has their respective roles, then there should be no need to eradicate the names of those roles. Call them what they are. A husband is a husband. A wife is a wife. A man is a man. A woman is a woman. When we start using these generic terms like partner and teammate or whatever like that, it obscures, it obscures the meaning of these roles. And like I said, it's a touchy subject, because I understand the times that we live in. We live in a very well, let me not say a matriarchy, but we live in a time period in which there is a default matriarchy at place, at play right now. And so when we say things like that, it might kind of rub people the wrong way. But again, it's just about it's about maintaining clear-cut definitions of our roles. If a man is a provider, if he is required to be the provider and the protector, then he should be called as such. If I'm required to support my family, to protect them, to provide for them, then why would I not be called a husband? Why would I just be called a teammate? That's vague. Mm-hmm. Women should not have their title as woman and mother and wife removed from them, because it's undermining what they do, what they bring to the table in a relationship. No, they should be called exactly what they are.
Okay. Hallelujah. I want to jump in. If it's cool with you all.
Okay.
There's a couple things you said. I actually wrote down some things, and I got to be honorable. And one of the things I'm going to bring out, because I actually coined it from someone by the name of Bolo. I think it's Bolo TV on YouTube. I saw him on a platform I was listening to, and I loved his analogy.
Oh, when you said Bolo, for some reason, when you said Bolo, I thought you was talking about the martial art dude from Enter the Dragon.
No. Oh, but I want to paint something. You were saying some good stuff, Chief. If you notice, it's a reason. Like, so saying modern, would it be a more modern or a more appropriate modern term? And I love the fact that you said we shouldn't even deal with them, in a sense. Basically, you didn't say that, but that's what I gathered. But putting this question out there, it was kind of to relate in some fashion, give them a distinction. You think of teammate, you think of like a Michael Jordan and a Scotty. Michael Jordan was the man; he was a captain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I feel what you saying, because these terms actually do affect, in my opinion. And I'm going to paint a picture, a short picture, if I can. They're trying to cancel out genders. These terms.
Absolutely.
People don't even know these terms actually do mean something. We're so, even us is in the way, or on the way, as some of y'all say, as Israelites in this culture, we're starting to grasp hold to these terms because, of course, we're involved in society. A lot of us are not in communities and things of that nature, so we're just grabbing hold of them. We're not seeing the big picture. Without seeing the big picture, maybe we do and just don't care. But one of the big pictures that I've been seeing is they have been removing a lot of stuff for a lot of years. One of them being, and I'm gonna backpedal a little bit. Genders, man, woman. Now they're starting to make it to where it's not even that. You know what I'm saying? So think about that as I'm speaking, as Chief Zebulon spoke, and I don't know what the Achayot, the sister's, going to say, but we're gonna see. But look at the removal of that. Now let's look at partner. When we bring out partnership, he was bringing out protect, right? One of the things I believe out of everything that makes a man the leader, when you think of an army, generals and stuff like that, they normally, well, I don't know about modern times because I'm not, but they would be in the front line. Leaders die for who they're protecting. Man is supposed to die. See how I said that? It sounded kind of scary too. Die for his family, for his wife. Die. That's a role. Die. I'm gonna keep saying it. Die. Once you put that partnership in it, now it's like, okay, so you go die for me? Some say, yeah, I'll die for you. I'll fight. No. Are you literally gonna jump in front of cars or bullets and stuff for me? I ain't talking about the children. I'm talking about me. Because the leader, the husband's supposed to not only die for the children, but his wife. Of course, the mother gonna say she'll die for her children. They can't really protect themselves. But would you die for me? I can't protect myself, and you know that. That's something to think about. So when you remove that husband-wife title, which they are doing today, you hear men saying, yeah, this is my partner. You hear women say, this is my partner. And that's okay if that's what you like to do, cool. But I'm talking to the men right now. Men are actually saying, this is my partner too. I'm going to say this is my child, my wife. All right, now let's go back. Equality. You said something about equality. That's touchy. But let me throw something else in there to give you a picture. The Most High made us for a specific reason. None of us came out saying what we wanted to be. It was a reason why we were made this way. This is what I've coined from Bolo TV, the guy Bolo, which I thought was excellent. Some of you might agree with this. Some of you might not even like it. He used the eagle and he used the rat. Now, I have said the only thing that's equal about men and women are the fact that we are both created. I've said that before. I don't know if anyone remembers, but I've said it. Same with the eagle and the rat. They both were created. Neither one of them chose to be the eagle or the rat, right? But the eagle is above the rat, figuratively and literally, right? The rat can't do nothing to beat or kill the eagle, but the eagle can. Now, if this is going over some people's head, which I hope it's not, which I doubt is, I know you all are very intelligent, Neither one of them picked the roles that they have in this circle of life. But yet this ego is that, and that's, I'm not making the comparison using that as far as man and woman, man being over like we dominate, we kill, y'all are little than us. No, or women being whatever. It's just showing that this is how they was created. They was created to be a certain type of way. I could get into the anatomy and all that stuff, but I'm not going to get into that. My point is these terms of partnership and teammate, which I roll with a teammate before partnership, because again, I look at, you know, your Michael Jordans, your Scottie Pippens. I look at your CEOs or those above the CEOs that they got to go to, you know, to make decisions. Those are, it's a whole team. It's a faculty, a team, but it's still roles in place. It's still leadership in place. It's still a hierarchy in place. So that's my thoughts on it. I would love to hear you all's thoughts. Let's pass the mic to good better Kathy. If you're available, see what's your thoughts on this topic. And you're unmuted. Look at the little baby. I'm sorry.
You and Chief both took the words out of my mouth. My answer was going to be short and sweet. Again, I know I'm the eldest on the panel, and teammate and partner were not used for heterosexuals. It was, when I was growing up, it was for a different culture of people that had a different relationship. So yes, is equality a part of it? Because yes, again, look at who you're trying to join up or give a title to. So they have to outline equality. Whereas Chief was saying, when you stick with the norm, I'm a husband, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, the Torah speaks of those positions. So that leaves out that confusion. So that's what all I had to say.
Man, I was long-winded. I was long-winded. Came in and short and sweet. My bad, y'all.
And to her point, you know, let's be honest. When we say, like when you hear women, for instance, especially black women, I can't speak to women outside of us, whatever. That's their business. But with our women, we constantly hear the narrative of women empowerment, black women empowerment, and it's like, okay, cool. What women are not understanding is that when you begin to erase these terms like women, erase terms like wives, nurturers, and things like that, that in itself is taking power away from what you are.
Okay.
Because what they're saying is that what you do as a woman is of no consequence. That's the only way that you can erode terms like that. When we talked about equality, people automatically think that men are saying that, okay, we're better than. No, we're saying that there are things that women are able to do that men have to take a back seat to and just say,
come on, man.
Hey.
Thank you for clearing that up too, because I hope I said something that was out of pocket or didn't sound right to y'all. That's why Chief comes in and he cleared up.
Oh, no, it was more so my statement because I wanted to make sure that going forward that there's no misunderstanding on people who may be viewing the show. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is that there is no equality between men and women because men and women are not the same. Biologically and otherwise, women, there are certain things that women do. That's why men pretty much take a backseat when children are born. From the time that they are born, forget about that. From the time that they are conceived, up to a certain year out the womb, men have to take a kind of secondary position in parenting because that is the nurturing part of the relationship.
And we're not equal to them in that.
At all. So in that respect, women are doing what they're doing. And with all due respect, men kind of have to do this a little bit. Mm-hmm. And just say, okay, you know what? Because that's what she does. That's what she is biologically wired. She's biologically wired to be a life bearer and a nurturer. Men don't have all of that information. They can do a decent job, but they can't do the job that she can do. So respectfully, men would have to do this and let her do what, let her do, make it do what it do. But then there's some things that men as protectors where women have to look and say, okay, let me just be quiet on this because he knows what he's doing. That's his thing. That's what he is biologically bred to do. So let me just fall back and let him do what he does. This is what I mean by not being that we're not equal across the board. And I mean that in a good way. There are some things that women are here with it and men have to kind of fall back. And then there's certain elements where men are here and women have to fall back. That's why men cannot be alone. That's why that's the most I said that it is not good that man should be alone.
Okay.
You have to have something to balance it out to kind of, for the woman to kind of come in, pick up the slack where men are lacking in, and vice versa. So I just wanted to be clear on that so that nobody going forward would be like, they on there talking, male chauvinism, whatever like that. That's what I meant when I said that. So I apologize for cutting into Sister Sharon's platform. I know I kind of inserted myself, but I wanted to be clear on that and not let anybody think that this is going somewhere else.
Hallelujah. Achot Sharon, Salach Lee, what you got? If you're there you go.
You're told, Chief. All this told. My answer was going to be what Sister Kathy was saying. When I was growing up, the term partner came about when homosexual relationships was more put to the forefront.
Man, she be coming with some heat. You be coming with that heat. You be coming with
it was more acceptable to be out in public. So so people would announce themselves as their partner. Now in today's society, it seems like partner has evolved into a terminology for an open relationship.
Right.
Man, and honestly, teammate is kind of like a step down from that. I don't think the word team, the terminology teammate is appropriate either, because teammate to me can be very vague. It's like, okay, are y'all a team for the children? You could be talking about coming together as a team for the children, not necessarily y'all in a union together, not necessarily y'all in a relationship. Are y'all a team when it comes to certain variables that y'all once held or maintained in y'all, in y'all lives? So that terminology kind of be, it's very it's very, very vague to me. Like Moray was saying, husband and wife is more locked in. It's more of a showing like we are together. This is my wife, this is my husband, we are together. It's no outsiders. This is one-on-one relationship type thing. So that's pretty much what I had to say on that.
I gotta say this about you. You be bringing some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even think about that. That term that you said, and I haven't looked at the data or the data, some people say. But from my knowledge, I think you're correct on that. It came when, I ain't gonna say the word because we on YouTube, but when they started coming up with that term, you know what I'm saying? Wow, that's some good stuff. I love it.
I be forgetting I had to censor myself because
they'll cut us quick.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what? We nobody right now. I mean, we somebody because we children of the Most High YAH, first and foremost. But as far as on the YouTube platform, we've still, if we was like 50,000 subscribers in or something like that, yeah, we definitely. Is there anything else anybody have for this specific topic before we go into the next song? Going once, going twice. All right, so the next song that I'm going to play is, again, me. I told y'all, man, I'll be playing everybody else's song. It's time to play some of mine. But I did it on purpose. This next song is called Settle These Things. First verse is speaking on the husband and the wife. And then the second verse is speaking on coming together and just viewing the outside and how they operate and knowing that we need to, in order to survive and succeed, we need to just do the opposite of what they're doing. All right. This is also one of Chief Zebulon's favorite songs of mine. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief. Settle These Things. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
There's a line of couples that's going through unnecessary things, just arguing cause we can't figure out the route we should go. when things get cold. I know what it's like to let pride in the way. You know what it's like to separate decays. Our flesh and we made one back to where we came from, a place we didn't have love. Now it's here this present day with us. Wasn't you, wasn't me. When facing them we couldn't see, cause they would block what was beneath. It was a flood ready to stream, so we could grow, so we could breathe. And now those things I got with you, but don't allow how we once felt others to come through. Your body all over my body, babe. Your head on my chest, you're the cure to my stress. Oh yeah, my body all over your body, babe. You're the best we both had, but we'd rather be mad. I'm mad at you, you mad at me. Who's in the wrong? Who's in the wrong? What does that mean? What does it mean? Misunderstanding. That's what I see. That's what I see. We just act like the king and the queen that we are. Settle this thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Take a moment, let's both sit back and just watch. We've been operating just the way they want. Royalty within us fading, there I bleed. Separate those failing thoughts is what we need. Method for family and sons. Look at our stats, the work for us. Based on the past, how can we trust? Conditioning once was a must. Gotta go back to how it was. The ways of old, that's best for us. Our culture, our people, our rules of love. Our culture, our people, our rules of love. I just want your head on my chest. You're the cure to my stress. Oh yeah, my body all over your body. You're the best we both had, but we'd rather be mad. I'm mad at you, you mad at me. Who's in the wrong? Who's in the wrong? What does that mean? What does it mean? Misunderstanding. That's what I see. That's what I see. Now we just act like the king and the queen that we are. Settle these things. Why don't we settle these things? You're a queen, I'm a king. Keep everyone away. Yeah. Keep everyone away. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Settle them things.
Settle them things, man. A lot of us going through stuff. A lot of us having these issues, these problems. Don't know how to settle these things because their method for family sucks. Like I said in that verse, their method of family sucks. And we're trying to be like them. Whoever you think them might be. They're opposite of us. You know, not hating on them. You know, everybody has their own styles, but our success was more so based opposite of their method, and we got to get back to ours. We got to figure that out. For those of you that are not a part of our culture, our walk, tune in. You're gonna learn a lot of stuff over the course of all these segments, all these topics. So, welcome back to YAH Conscience Radio. Well, if it's not YAH Conscience, it is not acceptable. Man, beautiful song, man. That artist is pretty good. Next topic and last topic, final topic. Man, we're moving kind of swiftly today. It's 8:03. I should have had two more topics. Is respect towards leadership dwindling today? This is actually a really broad topic when you think about it. It could go on so many levels. But is respect, because it's many levels to this. There's levels to this. Is the respect towards leadership dwindling today? Hallelujah. Appreciate the comment. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pass it. But before we go, I want you all that's watching, man, if you're watching right now, if you have not did it, like the video. Like the video. Subscribe if you have yet to subscribe. Let's get it up there, you all. We need more conversation like this. We need more demonstration of, I coined this from Chief Zabulon, Hebrew decorum or decorum in general. I've seen a lot of platforms and they talk about a lot of good things, but the decorum is horrible. The respect, which is the title of this next topic, is horrible. But what they do understand is drama is attractive, unfortunately. And what we're displaying and demonstrating on this platform, the decorum that we have, allowing others to speak, not cutting them off, rudely and things of that nature, that's not liked. They want to see drama, but we're not going to do that. So we need you all to subscribe. We need you all to share it for those that you believe might want to hear some of these conversations, these topics. Support us, push us, and we're going to continue to supply you with topics that will help you survive and be successful as a family, because ultimately that's the most important thing outside of YAH when it comes to people. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. Last question. Is respect towards leadership dwindling today? I want to start off with Achot Sharon. Is respect towards leadership dwindling today? And with that, whatever leadership you might, matter of fact,
I was just about to say.
I knew you asked that. So let's talk
I was just
about
about to say, because whenever I see the term leadership, I always place it in a position to be more so for a man.
Mm-hmm.
When I see leadership, I think of man first, woman second.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when I looked at this topic, it kind of reminded me of what's going on like every time you log into your social media platforms, what's going on between men today, and this gender war between women and men. You can see in the comments how we don't know how to talk to each other. And to me, I still baffle at the idea, because I'm like, we're grown. We ain't got it yet. We don't get it yet. But unfortunately, it's there. It's real. It's a real thing. Yes, I do think it's dwindling down. If you want to look at it on the women's side, men aren't being the men anymore, quote unquote, like how our forefathers was. So they're not going to allot that respect. Women, if you want to look at it on the man's side, the man is saying, well, women don't respect us for our protection, they don't respect our leadership, So it's kind of like a boomerang effect with this thing. That's if I'm looking at it more on a concrete scale. If you want to look at it on a broader scale, it can mean many of things, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go full circle and say, yes, it's definitely dwindling. We have more women killing children. If you want to look at it like that on a leadership level, we also, women, we are supposed to be nurturers and protectors of our younglings and things like that. So yeah, like all across the board, it's definitely dwindling due to the influence of society as well.
I think you own it right there. You hitting everything I wanted to say, man.
Everyone is allotted their own rules. Don't nobody want to go by codes and morals and codes of conduct and standards anymore.
Judges, judges, everyone right in their own eyes, right? Hallelujah, good stuff. We appreciate you for what you put out. Better, Kathy, what you got? Is respect towards leadership dwindling today?
I was going to flip the script. Where is leadership today?
Whew. Man, she hit it with it.
But my sister went first. But it still falls, you know what I mean, again, in line with all of the different bullet points that she presented. I mean, let's even go back to what Chief was saying, people not understanding their position. Because then you have women that want to prove or feel that they need to prove a point, you know, to be successful in society because that's what they said. You know what I mean? You can do what a man can do. You can be just as successful. Yes, you can be on certain levels, certain magnitudes of things, but there still is, and the Torah speaks of it, positions that and responsibilities that we hold, you know, again, whether it's a woman, child, mother, father, or what have you. So, I mean, again, I honestly was just going to say, you know, where is leadership today? And it's not, for me, it's just not on a relationship level, you know, our elders, you know, where are they? You know, are they still, you know, doing what they supposed to be doing on a daily basis for the people that look up to them? Yeah, so that was my question. Where is leadership? You know, men don't want to be men anymore. Men cheering on their women, saying you can do this and you can't. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, like Maury said, I definitely don't, you know, when my husband and I walking down the street, and even with this, whether it's with me, his kids, or our grandchild, you know, he's positioned on this side where if the potential of a car can run up, you know what I mean, it's gonna hit him first.
Come on
And
now.
I don't know if that's, I don't know. I mean, that's deep to me, but that's just how deep I think I look into, like I said, leadership roles or positions or caring about people and recognizing your responsibilities, who you deal with on a daily basis, and you know, your family members. That's it.
Hallelujah. I'm gonna come in, Chief. I'm gonna come in before you, Chief. You know, I'm trying to rotate it. Also, good better, Kathy. Let the East know, because I know you can hear me. I know you can hear me. But let the East know I'm coming to him with these 3 questions too. After we all done, because we got so much spare time. This is the last question. So once everybody done with these questions, if he can go ahead and bless us, well, you know what I'm saying, with his thoughts on these 3 questions, or we're gonna go that route. But look, is respect towards leadership dwindling today? You all, man. I want to hit a few areas with this one. Okay. You brought out an excellent point with the elders. I think the foundation of everything of society is man and woman. I believe that the foundation, those that know me know I'm like a broken record with these things. Chief probably tired of me by now because I be talking about this stuff all the time. Foundation of society is man and woman. Without man and woman, there would not be any society. You have people today that's teaching, you know, get your bag, things of that nature. I have counseled a few people. I have observed a few people, and many women, more specifically, and also men as well. But I'm going to pinpoint a lot of the women because, like, I ain't gonna get into that right now. They got education, they got the bag that people talk about today in society, but a lot of them are single. A lot of them are not able to communicate properly with the man. Same thing with men. I'm gonna be fair, be balanced. But I never dated a man, so I only could speak on women. And I don't date anyway, but when I did, you get what I'm saying. Um, um, you have to wonder. I was talking to my daughter about this. I was like, you know, what I want to teach you is yes, you need to learn, you know, how to be financially literate. You need to learn how to navigate in this world, all of the above. But the number one thing I want to teach you is how to deal with your future husband. I paused there just for you. You know, I want to teach you how to deal with a future husband. Um, because many people who have all those things I mentioned are not happy. They're not successful in relationships. They can't do it. Why? Because they have not been taught the foundation of life in general, and that's man and woman. That's it. So it starts there. Leadership. So then you got the man who's supposed to be the leader of the home for multiple reasons. I won't get into that right now. One of the reason I'll speak on the most is, standing in if he had to die. That might not be important to many of you because of the argument of the conversation, but if it was in real life in real time, you'll probably understand why I'm saying that. Then you have a woman. She has leadership too. A woman's leadership is very important, especially in regards to the children. I would even go as far as to say, and some might disagree with me, some of the people within my community might as well, leadership towards the husband in a sense too. That might sound weird, but the first person that the husband talks to before his boss or his employees, if he is a boss, is his wife. 9 times out of 10, he's talking to his wife. Chief, correct me at any time. 9 times out of 10, he's talking to his wife. So what does that mean? If he's talking to his wife, then that means that she has a role of leadership in suggesting certain things. Yes, he has the final decision, but her leadership mind, thoughts is accompanying or adding to whatever decision he makes. Now let's look at the children. The children has to be led properly through the Isha, to the mom, to the wife. The husband as well, but that's normally how it trickles. Going into what Gilberto Kathy said with the elders, I think that's extremely important. I had a conversation the other day with someone, and I was speaking on how in our community, it's a lot of people, even in our community, especially in the so-called society, right? But in our community specifically, that might not operate culturally. One of the biggest things in our culture that allows our culture to thrive is eldership. Leadership, eldership. Why? I go to about 2 people for specific scenarios because they gonna tell me regardless. They gonna say, "Hey man, you full of crap." That's Chief Zebulon right there. He gonna say you full of crap if he needs to say it. Why? Because he gonna tell me I'm full of crap. He's gonna put me back on the course I need to be on, whether it's with the Isha, which I don't have right now. Most I will in the future, in the near future. When it comes to teaching, when it comes to just anything, he's not gonna just say whatever I want to hear. We're talking about leadership right now, right? The reason respect towards leadership is dwindling, and I'm done when I say this, is because leadership is not there on a wide scale. I'll say that. Gilberto Kathy said, "Where is leadership?" For her to ask that question, it has to be some validity to what I'm saying. And with that, I yield. I want to pass the mic to Chief Zebulon.
Okay, and I don't know if I got much that I can add to that because everybody's been kind of have very astute responses. So I guess I'm gonna have to just get in where I fit in here.
Lies. He's gonna lies. What? See, Hebrews gonna be going 10 minutes later. Chief said, "I'm just playing, Chief. I'm playing."
Nah, you know how I am. I can go. So that's why sometimes I need people to say, "Yo, Chief, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, these are good questions. Where is leadership? I mean, like you said, the fact that Gilberto Kathy would have to ask that question is problematic. It's troubling. From my observation, leadership has been eroded by the advent of social media. One of the things that we learned in our scriptures, specifically, and I don't know where everybody's stance is with the Apocrypha, but in the Apocrypha, what is that? I think chapter 6 of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach. It talks about how it says to be agreeable with many people, but only have one counselor in 1,000.
Come on.
Meaning, you can extract knowledge, whatever information from whoever, but when it comes to counseling, there's certain requirements that have to be checked and balanced when it comes to to a counselor. What is their experience? Do they have a dog in the race? Meaning, what they're going to tell you, does it benefit them either way? These are the importance of leadership is, it has been shut down by social media, because contrary to what we just read in Ecclesiasticus, we now have, every time we log into Facebook, every time we log into Twitter, every time we log into Instagram, whatever the platforms that we use, you literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sound bites going through your ears, going through your eyes. As you're scrolling down the timeline, you have a bunch of information bombarding you. You ever had tried to have a conversation with somebody in the middle, inside of a club? Music's blasting, people dancing, everybody, whatever. You can't have a conversation with somebody.
That's right.
You either got to take it to the bathroom or you got to go outside. Why?
Right.
Because it's too much noise. The reason why we now have a problem with leadership is because genuine bona fide leaders are now competing with the internet.
I promise you ain't lying.
You're competing with the internet. Listen,
yes, bring it out.
30 some odd years ago, when I was coming into this war, and even before that, even in the late 80s, when I was in Islam and all of the Pan-African, stuff, whatever like that, I can say that about that too. But in 1993, when I came into Camp Yakad in Brooklyn, St. John's and Nostrand, and one of the first things that I saw in this camp that that blew my mind is that when it came to researching, our elders would instruct us to go, to New York Public Library. There was no internet, so you had leaders who said, "Listen, you're going to go to New York Public Library, the big one. Go down there, do your research, come back with reports on whatever subject or whatever have you." And so there was a process, but we always came back to the camp and we knew who our leader was. So we heard one voice, 2 or 3 voices in the same camp, but they were all a unified voice. And so we had clear-cut direction.
Mm.
There was no outside voices when it came to our initial instruction. You had your teachers, you had your professors, and you moved forward with that. You grew in that. Then when you had the foundation, when you were able to build yourself up, when you got to a certain point, then you could entertain the information from other people, because you could listen to it and still have your foundation. You can't get, you can't get shooken by anybody because you were already built up. These mechanisms don't exist in the cyber world. Things that you had to work for academically in a camp 30, 40 years ago, you can get it immediately by going to Google. 2 seconds, you could pull up everything.
And then sometimes going to Google is false information too, by the way, you might get. Go ahead.
Oh, no, without a question. But being able to go to Google, you're basically everything that a person, let's say 30, 40 years ago, everything that a person had to learn, and it took, let's say 10, 20 years to gather all of this education by going to school, going to these camps, whatever. This information can now be obtained by somebody in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Google it, PDF online, download it. And so what has happened is that at one point in time, leadership or leaders were the gatekeepers. They were the gatekeepers and the dispenser of knowledge. They were the gatekeepers and dispenser of truth. Now you're able to completely bypass leadership altogether. Hence why when the internet age began to rise, camp attendance or congregation attendance began to falter.
Chief, let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question. Let me throw something in there for you to speak on really quick so we can pass the mic to Akoto Gabera Sharon. But I got to throw this in there. Some people are listening and they might be thinking, well, that's a good thing. We can look on Google and we find it quicker than we all did. Let me ask you a question, Chief, or let me throw something out there and have you comment on, because it might not be a question because I really actually know what I want to say. You might be looking at what Chief's saying and saying, okay, you can look on Google. You find out in 2 minutes versus 10 months that they did. The problem is this. You find the information in 2 minutes. What does that mean? You don't have the proper competency to understand what you found. You don't know what it took to get there, nor do you know if what you found, it might be true, but then it might be false according to the question that you're looking for, the answer you're looking for, because you don't have the whole line of process. In any school, any degree that you get, you don't just get the degree by looking on Google. You got to take years to get there because it's steps, it's culture, it's history, competency, like you all been speaking on. It's all of the above. So my question to you, Chief, or my request for you to speak on that part of it, because they might have been listening to you saying, well, 2 minutes might not, man, that's cool. I mean, I could find it better. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's
quicker. I should say quicker.
It's the same as asking it's like comparing a person who has worked hard all of their life and have become wealthy versus somebody who hustles on the block and gets $1 million in a few months. Who has more respect for the money they have? The person who worked for it or the person who just received it? Because, you see what I'm saying? We all know drug people, hustlers, they don't respect money. That's why they go broke. Because the way they got it wasn't honorable. They didn't work for it. They didn't put forth the effort. And so people who work, that's why people, if you ever see people who go to college, and I'm not necessarily saying college is, but people who go to school, to so-called higher institutions of higher learning, when they go and they put the work in, they go and they get those degrees. Not only do they get the information, but what else do they get by being in a college, in a classroom setting? They get the opportunity to learn how to digest that information, how to rightly apply that information.
Hallelujah.
This is part of the learning process, not just learning the information, but knowing how to apply it, how to apply it with wisdom, how to look at a situation and see, okay, this will work in this situation. This will work over here. People who go and snatch information offline, they get the information, but they don't know how to apply it. They don't know what to do with it other than, well, this is the knowledge, this is the information. So you can get the information from these said individuals, but they can never really give you the full measure of what it represents because they've never gone through the process.
Yes. Hallelujah.
And how can you, think about it. You have, like I said, you have people who go to college, they go get they go get a 4-year degree or 8-year degree, whatever the case, they put the work in. And then you got people, remember back in the days, diploma mills? Do you remember this? Some of us, I think, are old enough to remember this. Where a person can say that again?
I said, look at the little baby. I'm sorry, the big baby went across the screen. I love it, man. I slackly, I got messed up. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay, I understand. I know.
It's so cute, man. The babies be cute, man. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
Yes, sir. But that's what we remember diploma mills, and diploma mills were basically institutions that you could basically contact them and say, hey, listen, I want a master's degree in whatever subject, and they'll actually print out for a certain fee, they'll print out these degrees,
crazy,
mail them to you, and it'll be some random college, whatever like that. So it looks good. But a person who's actually gone through the process of earning those type of degrees, they look at these people like they don't respect them because they're like, you did not put in any work. Okay. And that's the problem today again with leadership, is that so now leadership has dwindled because what leaders are requiring students and followers to do is what? Earn your keep. The internet does not require that you earn your keep. The internet simply requires that you pay your monthly bill for your internet, and that you go to Google and just type the information in. There's no gatekeepers. There's nobody to filter out good information from garbage.
Real quick, before I pass the mic, did everybody answer that question? Gilberto, Kathy, did you get to go with that question before you? I'm gonna let you still go on. Bring out what you want to bring out. Did you answer the question yet?
Yeah.
Okay. And Akko Sharon, did you answer it as well?
Kane, I was kind of like just subbing Chief because it was like music to my ears. He hit everything on the money. I don't know if y'all heard about the term all these Facebook university scholars, these Facebook scholars. But Kane, like he just Kane, like I'm speechless, honestly, because that's exactly where leadership is gone now. Absolutely.
Better, Kathy, go ahead. I know I cut into what you was about to bring out. What you got?
No, I actually was just going to, piggyback on what Chief was saying. If you think about it, Chief, think how long it wasn't long before these diploma mills were discredited.
Mm-hmm.
So these people that were making whatever annual salaries or whatever at one point in time for however length of time, once it was discredited, those corporations that they were working for was able to go back and, reevaluate the contract. But a lot of those places went under. So to support his point is good to put in the work, because even if that agency would have required you to put in some sort of effort, whether it was 30, 40 hours, my gosh, you would at least hopefully would obtain 30, 40 hours worth of information. But to just send you a degree and you hadn't studied anything, and when they snatched that degree away from you, that was it. I just wanted to add that to that. I don't know how many people really recall that, but it was a lot of institutions that went under, and the diplomas that these people earned or were issued, they were no longer credible. So it's worth putting the work in.
And mind you, just to kind of slightly get on, and just to with the issue with the diploma mills. Remember, originally you could not just simply pay them and say, here, take the money, give my degree. Remember, there was a point in time where they would actually give you, like, it would, say you would have to go through like this small little course. They just wanted to make sure that you at least had a rudimentary understanding of what it is that you're dealing with. So let's say if it's psychology 101, like whatever, you want a degree in psychology. They want to at least know that you have a little bit of knowledge of the works of B.F. Skinner. They want to make sure that you have, you have a certain knowledge base on Sigmund Freud's work. Even if you go into anthroposophy, they want to know, do you know who Rudolf Steiner is and Madame Blavatsky and all of these people? They want to at least know that you at least know something. Now, I think like 15 years ago, it was to the point where you could just write into them and say, hey, listen, I want a degree. I want a master's degree in, I don't know, engineering. Done. you send them whatever amount of money they're asking, and that's what you get. And it looked good on paper. And that's, again, it's like that. That's like downloading PDFs online. It looks good, but when someone actually presses you to show and prove that information, to show and prove that knowledge, and you sitting there looking, got the mackerel face on, not knowing what to say or what to do, this is where those institutions have shown to be detrimental to people. But the people who actually went through, the process of actually earning their degree. And I'm not saying that, these American institutions is whatever, but just saying that if this is what you chose to do to get the degree in order to push forward in your life, if you've earned that, people who earn, they have more respect for what they got. If you haven't earned it, this is the reason why in the internet age, I think what is it? I don't know if it was you, Gavera Kathy, or was it Gavera Sharon, who said of course Facebook scholars.
I call Sharon, Gavera Sharon.
Right. Okay. So with Facebook scholars, and this is not to say that people that there are not legitimate scholars or whatever on Facebook, but what we have seen is, and I've seen it myself, you get somebody who has only been in this walk, let's say 6-7 months, and they went on Facebook, they're not Facebook, they went on YouTube, watched a few videos, whatever, and they're currently calling themselves high priest so-and-so, and you're like, wait a minute, how are you high? Like, what school, what camp did you go, like, who did you go through to get this, whatever? And they're like, no, I ain't go through nobody, whatever, like that. No. And it's like, oh, so basically YouTube has become the modern diploma mill.
Pretty much. And in any school, you got to go through a process to get a title. But let's go ahead.
Before you move on, that's really why I wanted to stress the word, like discredited. Because as Chief continues to break it down, where you get your information from, whatever platform you choose to get on to say that you're this and you're that, you get these group of people and you're not consistent with it. So you get the people, such as yourselves or our congregations that, are really, they live this life. And then you got people laughing and thinking that it's a joke. So, that's why that word discredited to me, I wanted to keep just drilling onto that. So it is good to study, have your, gain your knowledge base, be able, and I don't like to say the word challenge, but you got to read the book from the front to the back to be able to have an intelligent conversation with someone that may have a different level of understanding in you. Because if you don't, then you're constantly going at them, telling them that their meaning of understanding is incorrect. So again, I just wanted to keep drilling in on that word of just, discredited. That's why I mentioned that, if you could take the short route, at some point in time, your cover's going to be blown, you're no longer that, that sheep and hiding. So, learn it, go through the hard knock life and be a support to the community and be an example, be something everlasting standing,
Hallelujah. Hey, and before we move forward, again, I'm gonna go ahead and play another song after the song. If your ish is open to it, I want to go through the questions, see what his thoughts on that. Since it's 8:40, we still got time. We know it normally close out at 9 o'clock or a little bit after, but he can fill in and let us know his thoughts. But welcome again, those that's tuning in. YAH Conscience Radio. Well, if it's not YAH Conscience, it is not acceptable. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get more interesting, more informative, all of the above going forward. We're going to hit all type of topics that's going to help, first and foremost, the family. So we're going to go to the last, well, not the last song, but one of the other songs is called Glad I Found You by none other than myself. I told you I got to play some of my music, man. Hey, I'm sorry, but I play everybody else's music. It's time to play mine. Glad I Found You is a song dealing with man and woman that found one another and just getting on the same page, understanding leadership. And I told you about leadership, and I specifically did these songs to these topics on purpose. But I said, I know that man is the leader when it comes to the home, but the woman has a certain leadership role right behind the husband, with the husband sometimes, because they thrive off of one another as well. We still have that hierarchy, but we do understand that the woman has a form of that leadership to kind of thrive and build off of one another, as long as she understands her role and his role, they could both bounce off, right? So that Glad I Found You is talking about a man and a woman coming together, and they are glad that they found one another because they've been searching for a minute. Here we go.
Cash flow. I'm so glad I found you. There's no other person out there like you. Been searching high and low, all around for you. In winds that has no end, in trenches closing in. Believe me, I'm so glad I found you. There's no other person out there like you. Been searching high and low, all around for you. In winds that have no end, in trenches holding in. I'm so glad I found you. I'm so glad that I found you. It was hard. See, we continue pumping, pounding like a heart, flowing down a lover's stream, connecting like the stars, floating like an eagle. Even when we sink, we glide. People often say this can't be real, but they haven't found someone special. You're the deal. I promise there's a glow. There's a glow. Seen it in I ain't never seen it before. Pour into the world. No comparison I found. Yo, I'm so glad that I found you. We continue to stand strong like a mountain, and I love it. We keep pouring like a fountain, roaring like a lion. King Kong, when they fly in, we swat them. They get in and they feel us while I feel a feeling. Got them. Now they wanna just to take notes. Go ahead, jot them, cause we Adam and Teen, new Adam and Eve. But yeah, you will never deceive too much class. I'm so glad I found the person out there. There ain't no one out there like you. All around for you. In winds that has no wind. Just hold you. There's no other person out there. I wanna take it down. I wanna take it down. I wanna take it down. All around for you. Let me take it down. Let me take it down. I'm gonna take it down. I wanna take it down. Let me take it down. You're the definition of loyalty. Oh, yeah. You held my position, unity. Your vibe is so soothing, you're my tea. Good energy, my chi. Yeah, you are it for me. You're the definition of loyalty. You held my position, unity. Your vibe is so soothing, you're my tea. Good energy, my chi. Yeah, you are it for me.
Yes. That's Glad I Found You.
I like that. I like that, Moray.
But it's coming. It's coming. That person.
Yeah, I didn't know you sang at first until I used to watch your stories. I'm like, oh, okay, so he really sang.
Okay, hallelujah. Appreciate you.
Okay, I like that. I like that one.
Trying to bring R&B to our culture, you know.
Okay.
You know, influenced by our Torah, but just still, because people like R&B. So, like, I ain't gonna be talking about like with Trey and Kelly. I'm gonna talk about, but I'm gonna talk about stuff building and still keep the R&B vibe.
So Sleeker, that was you, like the whole thing, or that wasn't anyone else on the track?
Everything that you ever see me do is all me, unless I say that like I'm featuring on somebody's track. Yep. Okay. So
dope.
Appreciate you. Better Kathy. I don't know if y'all available, but if the Ish, if the Ish is ready, I would love to, you know, see what his thoughts on some of these questions, and then we're gonna close out after he's done. Just let him go through these, you know, if he's up for it. We got some minutes left, so you know. You're on mute, by the way. Just want you to know that.
I'm moving.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Shalom, man. You know, you gotta
Shabbat
spiffy that, man.
shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Hello, man. Shabbat
Shalom.
shalom.
You guys.
Spiffy that, man. Spiffy that. If you could do us a favor, introduce yourself. And then, you know, we'll go right into the questions, but I want them to know who you are. The listeners, those that's viewing, those who might watch it.
All right. I'm brother Melakishwa Ben Naphtali. I'm a part of the congregation down here in Baltimore, Maryland, Bene Zakin, Baltimore. And
Zakin.
Kane, Sharon is family. She is family. And, you know, I really enjoy what you guys are doing here.
Oh, praises.
Wonderful things.
Definitely,
all praise to the Most High.
Hallelujah. So we had to get you in, you know, because you are the Ish of our Ahot, the better. So we're gonna go ahead and go with these questions real quick, you know, let you take the allotted time, the rest of the time that we have, and we're gonna close out with a song after you, of course, my song, because I'm promoting myself a little bit, man. Dang, come on, why not?
Why not?
All right, so the first question. Go ahead. What you got?
Okay, so if you don't mind, let's do this.
Okay.
I'd like to go in reverse.
Go ahead. Whatever. Matter of fact, I'm gonna chill and I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind just presenting the questions, but let's go. Yeah, because the last one you guys discussed, I had some thoughts on it, and before I lose it, I want to, share with you all.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So last question, which is first for you, is respect towards leadership dwindling today? Is respect towards leadership dwindling today?
Okay, so one of the first thoughts that I considered, when I heard the question, is simply the fact that it depends on the community that you're amongst and where you are. Because I can't necessarily say that that's completely the case. For us, I appreciate the fact when I see the youth in my community, our youth, I see them show their elders the respect. So if you're talking about just simply showing that level of respect and not acting like how a lot of our families are out in the streets, there's a difference. They're used to recognizing the gray-haired elder that walks in the room and knowing that it's necessary for you to stand just out of a sign of respect. They've been raised to do so. And before, like my children, for instance, before their grandfather passed, he was the elder that they consistently would stand up for in his presence, because he was one of the gray-haired elders that they would see often, but there are some elder sisters in Israel that deserve a lot of respect, and I see that they still continue to this day they get that respect. There's a lot of elder brothers that I see are deserving of that respect, and amongst the Israelite communities, regardless of differences of thoughts or opinions, they still receive that respect. So I still see it prominent, although things are a lot different now on just a basic social level. So, kids aren't as respectful as they used to be towards their elders. That's just hands down in general. I remember, just being in middle school and high school, if I would see an elder that was familiar with one of my parents, I would, hey, I'm gonna step back a little bit, make sure I don't show out too much, because I gotta ensure that I don't get a bad report going back home.
That's right.
When I was a kid, man, my grandmother was a teacher at my high school. So I didn't get sent home. I got sent to her classroom, and I got embarrassed if I acted up. So I had to watch myself. Right. But just in general, just thinking about that, it really depends on the community that you're amongst and how you've been raised. I do see that, there's some issues, throughout society in general, whether it's within our communities or outside of our communities. And, the more and more we see troubles occurring in these schools, you start to recognize that is a major factor, that level of respect that these children have for their elders. Not even enough to even just consider, if it's just basically considering, like, I'm considering what my elder is saying to me and recognizing whether or not it could be useful in my life, so.
I love what you added. I love what you added. And that's why, man, I'm so glad that, we brought you on, because you said something totally different than everyone on the panel said. And it was amazing, and it was needed for those that's watching, those that might watch back. Before we go to the next question, anything else you want to add? Because I feel like I cut you off, so luckily if I did, but if not, we could go to the next question.
No, yeah. That's pretty much all I had right now, considering that particular question.
Hey, those that's listening right now, please make sure you subscribe, like, share. This is YAH Conscience Radio. We got the Isha, the better Kathy, man. Very amazing points, man. I love this. I think that's needed in our community. We're touching different aspects, not only our community. You see, he brought forth things pertaining outside of our community, just like a lot of the panelists did today. That's our goal. Second question, going backwards, like you said, is the term partner in marriage conditionally or subconsciously used today? Slowly, am I saying that right? Hold on. Is the term partner in marriage conditionally or subconsciously used today to slowly remove hierarchy in the home? Second part of the question. Would a more appropriate modern term be teammate?
All right, so I'm going back to Genesis. Almighty said that he said to Adam that his woman was supposed to be his helpmate. So, and then considering a lot of what you guys brought to the table in the discussion, about how we are supposed to help balance out the family, and that is the position of both the husband and the wife, to be a help to one another, for the sake of the family, So, that's one of the first things that I consider. I've never heard that term used, partner, to describe a married couple.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a little thrown. I'm a little taken aback by that one. Like, so I wouldn't even consider that as an actual term to be used to describe, a family relationship.
It's actually in the modern world right now, society. I promise you, if you like, because we're so used to our walk, and I'm sure y'all deal with outside or whatever, but like, man, it's heavily partner.
Yeah.
Partner. I promise.
Yeah. But like it was mentioned earlier, and it's no disrespect to anybody, regardless of what your lifestyle is. Like you guys said, you want to be politically correct, but I've only heard it used in that instance. When it's talking about I've never if I had, I didn't even pay much mind, so it didn't even hit me the same way, And so, like I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I've never heard it to describe, a relationship between a man and a woman. When we're talking about husband and wife, Ish and Isha, that's it. That's structure. And I don't think that the social terms that are used today, we should allow to have that much relevance in our lives to describe what we have going on. We hopefully we're all walking a different kind of walk, and I mean just trying to be right with the Almighty. You know, that's our purpose. You know, we have to stay with the Almighty. You know, many times, like my elder Abba used to say, you know, many times we ask for Almighty to be with us, but yet, you know, we need to focus more on staying with Yah, and that's where we'll benefit from that relationship with the Creator, is by staying with the Almighty and not always asking for the Most High to be with us. You know, so
wow. Yeah. I love that. Man, come on, man.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Last question.
Yes.
It's a two-part question, though. Two-part question. I think it's a two. No, it's actually almost a three. Is it more important for a husband and wife, or wives, you know, for those that do polygyny, to be on the same level of competency when it comes to Hebrew literature and history, or is just the same level of servitude towards Yah enough? That's the first part of the question.
Okay.
Second part, should both be the goal?
I like this question. I do. I really do. Now, everyone learns on a different level, on a different scale. So if we're talking about from an educational perspective and just knowledge and, you know, in general, we're all not going to be on the same level. And that's just to be hands down honest. So you can't expect that if you're looking for a mate, that's the first thing that you consider is that, oh, you got to be just as smart as I am.
Come on, man. Say that again. Say that again.
It really makes no sense, you know, because I know for myself, if there are things for the family that need to be done and I'm not that great at, I'm going to ask my wife.
That's right.
I want to ask you to, you know, take the lead on it. So, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be 100% and you got to be great at everything. You know, sometimes it's just a matter of being great at knowing when to bow out of the matter and delegate properly. You know, in most cases, that's what it takes in order for us to have a successful family environment. You know, we just got to delegate certain duties to, you know, individuals that are skilled at certain things. If you're good at the finances, there's no need for me to worry about what's going on with the bank account. I'm gonna just leave it up to you, and you handle it. You know, that's just how the structure works. You have to have that much trust and faith in each other. You know, so I kind of lost my thought for a second, but
I'm gonna say the question one more time for you.
Okay.
So is it more important for husband and wife, or wives, to be on the same level of competency when it comes to Hebrew literature and history, or is just the same level of servitude towards Yah enough? Second part of it, should both be the goal?
Ultimately, the goal should be, first and foremost, to build that relationship with the Almighty. And I don't believe that each individual is going to have that same level of effort and energy, in a sense, but doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. You know, some of us are just a lot more enthusiastic than others, or, you know, we have more zeal in a sense than others. But, you know, we all should be working towards the same goal. And you absolutely want to have your mate, regardless. You want to ensure that you and yourself and your mate are reaching towards the goal of building that relationship with the Creator. And if neither one of you are on that kind of page, then it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. You know, so first and foremost, I think that's the most important. You know, you don't necessarily have to be on the same educational level, in a sense, or, you know, the same understanding level when it comes down to law and history.
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean that you can't get there either.
That's right.
You know, so you should always be encouraged enough to continue to try to educate yourself as a family, as a unit, and individually. You know, one thing that my teachers always said is don't listen to what I'm telling you. Read it for yourself. Study for yourself. Like you guys mentioned, you were talking about how the internet, you know, how these internet babies are. You know, they think just because they can Google something, they can find, you know, it's a matter of how relevant is the information that you've just discovered on Google. Sometimes that's not a good source of information. And I remember having those you know, we had those situations as well where luckily it was a blessing because actually one of my elders actually worked at the library, at the main library here in Baltimore. So he allowed us to get access to a lot of the old books, you know, historical reference books, even some Hebrew books that I didn't even know that the library had lexicons there. You know, most people don't realize that, you know, your local library might even have a lexicon. So we were able to find like a really, really old Chaldean lexicon that we used to was the book that I used to first learn how to read Bereshit.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, that's where it's at. You know, when you can validate that you have good resource material, you know, and you're not just Wikipedia in it, and you're just getting somebody's thoughts and opinions about what they studied or what they believe to be the case.
That's right. I just want to thank, man, Toda Rabah to you as well. I appreciate you stepping in, jumping in, man. Honor to the better Kathy for, you know, speaking highly of you. Honor to you as well for, you know, thinking that she'll be a good fit for the platform through Akhot Sharon, who actually suggested her as well. It's a wonderful thing, man. I'm loving this platform. Love that you gave us.
Great thing going on.
Yes, sir. Gave us a you added to it. You know, you brought out. I don't know if it was on purpose or it was just natural, but you brought up something different than what we was bringing to add to for the listeners. So I hope those that's listening gather some from all of us. I'm going to say this: if Chief Zabulon has anything else to say, I Coach Sharon, Kabeta Kathy, have anything to say to close us out, go ahead. And after you're done, we're going to play one last song to end it. And then we'll just see you all next week. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. That's the only way we're going to grow. That's the only way this information and these thoughts are going to get out there. Hallelujah.
All right. Stay with YAH. Told everybody.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take that as no one has anything else to add. So we're gonna close out with the last and the final song, and this is with your boy. I gotta promote myself just a little bit, you know, just a little bit. This is the last song. I won't do this often. This will be the last time, y'all. The last song is called "Virtuous," and this is apparently, you know, man looking for a virtuous woman. And I say this to the women that's watching, you know, look for an upright man, a righteous man, you know. But I couldn't speak for a man or about a man because that would be against the law. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Sitting here reminiscing on those days, wondering if I would ever meet you. Yeah, I know what the literature says. A virtuous woman is hard to find, true. Especially in today's time. A virtuous woman is hard to find. Even in the truth, yeah. Give all honor to the Most High, who resides up in the sky, sending all his angels in my life, prepared for me the perfect life. This wasn't nothing. Oh, yeah. It's a big deal. Oh, How many of you can say yeah? Oh yeah. Most High sent you the man or woman of your dreams. Oh yeah. That follows his ways, follows his word. Oh yeah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That's all you could say. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. For the wife he gave, husband he gave. Oh.